can be really distracting.
It would be.
So, okay, and now we're going to manual start. And I'm going to make sure that everything's kosher. And I hope everybody can hear us right now. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm Stephanie. I am the publisher of Troll River Publications. And this is Carol McKibben. She's also, full disclosure, she's also my mom. Mm-hmm. I'm her daughter. Yep. So just so you understand that. And this is the interview that I have for my mom for Moonblood 4. Mm-hmm. And now for the audience that may not know who you are, can mm-hmm. you give us like a small bio about yourself?
Sure. Well, I started out as a teacher. I have a master's degree in education, and I taught creative writing and expository composition and literature and all of that in secondary schools for about a decade. Then I became a magazine publisher for another 15 years or so. And then in 2007, I started writing novels. And actually I started with a memoir, and then went on to write my first fiction, a piece, Luke's Tale, and then have now created both the Snowblood and the Moonblood series, and also a prequel to those called Cain, the First Blood Son. So I've written about 12 books, I think, now.
Yeah, about 12 books.
Yeah, so this is kind of my full-time job. I write, and I also work with other authors to help them develop their work too.
Excellent.
So that's me.
Yay! Okay, so so I'm going to jump in to first some generalized questions.
Okay.
And then I have a couple of pointed questions.
Okay.
And then if anybody in the audience has any questions, put them in the comments. I'll take a look at your questions, and we'll answer them if you have any. And
this is Charlie.
Here's Charlie. He is a short-haired German pointer. You may or may not be able to see him, but you'll find out that dogs are a prevalent point in both of our lives.
Yep.
Charlie. So yeah, another. Nice, Charlie. Nice moving me too. Oh my gosh, it looks like a ghost moving us.
Yes.
Okay, so general question number 1. Mm-hmm. What do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, well, besides play with Charlie and Thor and all of our dogs, Tai, I own a competition horse. He's a Frisian. His name is Okido, IT, and I both train and compete in dressage, which is kind of like dancing with your horse. So that's what I do. That's what takes up all my spare time.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. So would you say you're more of an outdoor person than an indoor person?
I like to be outside.
Okay, awesome. Who is the most fascinating person you've met?
Oh, without a doubt, Ray Bradbury.
Oh my God! Wow.
The author Ray Bradbury. Yeah, he
legend.
When I was a magazine publisher, I worked with him. I invited him to a conference that we were producing, and we had him as a keynote speaker. And I got to spend a lot of time on the phone with him, yeah. And also at the conference, and just the most unique person I've ever met. So fascinating. His talk on creativity and how to come up with ideas was very inspirational for me as a writer.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Okay, so going into that, what was the last book that you really got into?
Well, right now I'm reading a book called Sarah and Zoe, and it's basically about these two women and how a dog changed their lives. So I'm not all the way into it now, but just knowing me and knowing that I write through a dog's eyes is fascinating.
So you read in your own genre, basically.
Well, I do a lot, and I love. I mean, I love the whole Garth Stein, The Art of Racing in the Rain, about Enzo. And actually, one of the characters in the Moonblood series is named in honor of Enzo.
Yes, yeah. I picked up on that when when I read it. I was like, oh, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
What are some movies that inspire you to write? Charlie.
Movies that inspire me to write?
Are there any movies that inspire you?
Well, I love The World According to Garp. One of my favorite authors is John Irving, and I love the quirkiness of that. The people, the characters were so different, and yet so appealing. And he used everything in that, from a cross-dresser played by John Lithgow to, of course, Robin Williams was Garp, and the story just, was about, it tied up everything from feminism to ethics to just accepting people for who they are and loving them anyway. Sound familiar? Like an unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
Yeah, I think that.
Yes. What amazing adventures have you been on, considering The World According to Garp? That was like a huge, amazing adventure for Garp about his life. So what amazing adventures have you been on that you could talk about?
Oh, well, I think our travels to Asia were huge. There was a period of time, I forgot to mention, I worked for about 5 years as the president of a company that my husband and I created, and we did a lot of work over in Asia, and just being in Asia and just experiencing that culture, which is so different than ours, everything about it, from the customs to the food to just the way people treat each other, behave, was an adventure unto itself. And we had an opportunity to, I put together about 25 different individuals from the live events industry, and we tried to capture the torch relay to produce it
for the Olympics?
For the Olympics in the Ghana.
Wow.
And what happened was we had Procter & Gamble as our main sponsor for that, and then it was 1995 earthquake happened and just destroyed all those plans, because Procter & Gamble took a huge hit over in Asia, destroyed their plant. Everything was all upside down. And we had just gone through, our family, including you, we had just gone through an earthquake.
The year
lived
before.
in California the year before, so that
was the 94 earthquake of California.
I don't know if you'd call it an adventure, but it was more of a tragedy, but it kind of was an adventure.
I would call it adventure, trying to find a new home.
Yeah, it was kind of like everything was destroyed. So, yeah.
Wow. So, what other countries have you traveled to?
Europe, most, just about all of the countries in Europe except Italy. A lot of the different islands.
I noticed you said except Italy. Is that a place that you'd like to go?
Yes. Yes, very much so. It's on my bucket list. And all over the United States, we've pretty much been to just about every place, including Alaska, Hawaii, of course, and the islands, the other islands. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean.
Have any of your travels led to a book?
the place that I haven't traveled has led me to a book, Italy. That's why Moonblood takes place a lot in Tuscany, because it's a place that I'm fascinated by, that I really want to see before I'm no longer here. And so I've done a lot of research on it, and that kind of really more than anything else.
So places in the book are actually kind of places where you'd like to go. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Let's see. So let's turn to dogs and horses.
Okay.
And, of all the pets that you've had, is there any one of them that stick out that were head and shoulders above the rest?
Oh, they're all head and shoulders above the rest. I guess Luke, because that's the inspiration for Luke's Tale that I wrote, and he literally was a blind dog, and he literally was a therapy dog. And just the story about trying, a dog helping. Oh, there's an angel.
Everybody out.
Everybody out. All the dogs. We have a lot of dogs here, folks. We have about 7 dogs.
Out.
And they're all in this room.
Come on. They're all out. This is gonna be noisy.
Yeah,
you
but
you get to leave.
Yeah. So, but Charlie snuck in.
That's okay.
I'd say Luke.
I would say that Luke was a pretty extraordinary dog,
He was
because
extraordinary.
he was blind, and he went with you to the barn,
He did.
and he
Stuck by me the whole time.
stayed with you in the arena,
Well,
or next to the arena.
He would sit next to my trainer while we were doing our, practice, and he would know just innately when it was over, and he would follow me back, to the barn, and he was just an amazing creature. I'd have to say, we had a litter. We had he was part of the litter that we had a dog named Darth, a black lab, and Princess Leia was their mom, and we had 10 puppies. And out of that litter, we kept, we kept Luke and Yoda and Tipper and
3 dogs.
Yeah, and they were all extraordinary. And I've had a lot of extraordinary dogs since then, and also my 3 Frisians, I'd have to say, and my Dutch warm-blood mare, Fergie. They were special.
Awesome. If there was an Olympics for everyday activities, what activity would you have a good chance at winning a medal in?
Listening to people's problems and helping them figure them out.
Patience. What are some things that everyone should try at least once?
Riding horses.
Okay.
Having a dog. It'll change your life.
Awesome.
Writing a book.
I agree. Writing a book is one of them.
Doesn't matter if you're have a lot of raw talent. Sometimes just writing things down is very cathartic and helpful to you.
Yes, keeping a diary of some sort. That's in itself sort of a memoir, actually.
It is.
What are some accomplishments that you are really proud of?
Writing 12 books.
Okay.
The showing that I do with Aikido, I'm very proud of when we go in and do our best. And, it's kind of us just kind of testing ourselves and being the best that we can be. And I think that's all you can ask of yourself.
Okay. What skill or ability have you always wanted to learn?
What skill or ability have I always wanted to learn? I think I need to learn more patience.
No, even though...
Yeah, I do. And I think also, I think that's an ongoing thing that you have to always stay on top of. I think I wish I had learned to love to cook.
No, learn to love to cook.
Yeah.
I like that. Learn to love it.
I hate to cook. I don't mind eating, but I hate to cook.
What is your, and this one you don't have to answer because I understand, some people, privacy issues, but
Sure.
what's your favorite app on your phone?
Oh, the Weather Channel, because then it tells me whether I'm going to get to ride or not. Or if I'm riding or writing that day.
There's a recurring theme. Yes.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character from a TV, movie, or book?
Oh, Jimmy Fraser from Outlander.
Okay.
He's just the most, what a guy. Just the most compassionate, understanding, kind, strong,
amazing
handsome.
person,
yeah. Everything all rolled into one.
What says the most about a person?
How they treat animals.
Okay. What are your top 3 favorite things to talk about? I could guess. I could guess them, but if you could put them in order.
Horses, dogs, and my family, but not necessarily in that order.
Okay. All right. What do you care least about?
Cooking.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Let's see. And for, I think the last question for the random questions to get to know you. What's the best present you ever gave or received?
Well, I think the best present I ever received was when my husband Mark gave me my Frisian Binky for our 25th wedding anniversary, and then when friends of mine who owned Aramis, my second Frisian, gifted him to me for my birthday.
Yeah.
So, and this was a very, very valuable horse.
Yes.
So, it was quite an honor.
I remember Aramis was a stir, not a stallion. He was a stir gelding, recognized by the Frisian Association. I understand that's very, very rare.
It is, and he was his sire was Brandis 345, and he was like world renowned. And fortunately, right now with Aikido, his grandsire is Anton. He's pretty world renowned too.
Oh, wow.
He just passed away.
Aww.
Yeah.
The Anton?
Anton did, yeah.
That's, yes, very cool. Okay. I have a couple questions that are book related.
Okay.
So that now we can get a little bit more about your books.
Okay.
And so the theme for your books is unconditional love. I take it.
Right.
And why do you use dogs, wolves, vampires, and stuff like that to promote unconditional love?
Well, the dog is obvious because dogs are the only creatures on earth that can love you more than they love themselves. So the characters, both Snowblood and Moonblood, were created to be symbolic of that, to be loyal, and vampires because one would think that vampires are the most unlovable of all creatures. They're like supposed to be monsters, but I tried to create a family of vampires that had redeeming qualities, that were lovable, and regardless of the situations they were in, to show the love and loyalty among all of them that the dog or the wolf in the story created.
Excellent. And where did you get the idea to create a series? First with Snowblood, around a vampire dog.
Oh, you know.
I do, but the audience may not, which is a pretty funny story.
Well, we were actually at a barn.
I remember sweeping
there. Yeah.
Sweeping.
Yeah. You and I were at the barn, and I had written Luke's tale, and you looked at me, and you just said, "So what are you going to write about next?" And we had
always the question, right?
Yeah, that's always our question. What's next? My husband and I had just fostered a white husky named Snow, and so, and the other part of that story is that we unconventionally grew up watching horror movies with our children, and Stephanie and I always loved the vampires. So I said, well, why don't I write a vampire novel? And she said, that'd be good. And she said, well, what would you, who would be the hero? And I said, how about a vampire dog? And we both looked at each other and said, Snowblood.
Yeah.
So, because of Snow. And so that was the beginning of it. And then obviously, while I was writing the 5 books in Snowblood, Cain was one of the most enjoyed characters in that series.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of natural to spin him off into his own series. I wrote the prequel about how he became a vampire and why he became a vampire, which was he wanted time because he's just a knowledge junkie and he just wants to, he just wants to learn and have time to learn. And then, and I don't want to give it away, but then a hybrid wolf becomes his companion, much like Snowblood was for Roggio.
Excellent.
Moon.
Yes.
So that's kind of how that all evolved.
Excellent. Yeah, that actually answers my third question, was how did you get an idea to the spin-off character Cain from Snowblood?
Okay.
Because he was a beloved
he
character, and it was only natural to go, to do that.
And I might point out that he wasn't beloved so much because he was just this romanticized character. He was kind of a wise ass.
Yeah.
And just kind of, unpredictable, and loved to goad his maker, his sire, Roggio, and he just kind of went against the grain in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yet he was very loyal at heart, and was willing to sacrifice himself for everybody else.
Awesome.
Which he did at one point.
Now, if anyone has any questions, put them in the comments, and we can try and answer them. But I have one more question, of course.
Okay.
Always the ultimate question.
Ask me.
Yep. Basically, as publishers always do, is what's next?
Well, I have to write Moonblood 5. That's the 4 just came out, so I need. I want to do 5 books in this series as well, and so I have to come up with the ultimate ending for this series, and I'm thinking about it. It has to formulate in my brain first. So that's what's going to be next, and then after that, I don't know yet.
Okay.
It'll come to me.
It will come. Okay. Yay. Okay. Well, I don't see any questions.
Okay, it's probably too early for everybody.
It might be. So sorry about that, guys. But
we'll replay this.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to thank you very much for coming in and
thank you for having me.
And interviewing, and hooray! And yay!
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for showing up and attending, and we'll see you. I'll probably see you tomorrow. I'll probably put up another game for everybody, and I'm starting to make them at about 7 o'clock. So if they run for 4 hours, it'll be in the span of these 7, 8 o'clock. It'll definitely, because I know that that's the most convenient time for most people.
And just so everybody knows, when you'll put up the replay pretty quickly here? Or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It'll probably take about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll have the replay, and it'll be at the top for at least a day. So,
all right,
everybody, thank you, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.